I survived 100 days of hardcore Minecraft in the new 1.17 mountains. If you've been living under a mountain for the past few weeks, Mojang released a new Minecraft Caves and Cliffs beta, releasing new mountain sub-biomes such as the snow-capped peaks, snowy slopes, mountain groves, and even mountain meadows biomes to explore. To put it into perspective, hardcore 100 days requires a total of 33 real-time hours played. And so for this hardcore series, I have 3 main goals. One of which is to obtain full netherite gear, second to defeat the ender dragon, and third to obtain the elytra from the end city. So without any more delay, please subscribe as it's free and let's get into it. So day 1, this is only the beginning. I opened up my map and found out that we only took up a little blob on the map, so I decided to head towards the tree and gather some logs. I then did the usual by crafting some planks, stakes, and even a crafting table. I also made a wooden pickaxe so that I could go mine some cobblestone. I towered with dirt and began mining. I kept on mining and mining until I thought that 16 was gonna be enough. Once I had enough, I headed back and decided to place my crafting table, but forgot to use classic crafting, and I crafted 8 swords! No! I put them in a safe place so no one steals it. And then after wasting all that cobblestone, I went to go grab some more. And so this time, I actually crafted my pickaxe and axe how I was supposed to. Next up, I refunded my donation to Team Trees, which is probably over by now, but I crafted it into oak planks. And to my surprise, I found a village in this new mountain meadows biome. So as any other Minecraft player, I barged in and robbed this villager's house. I took literally every single piece of loot, even though I didn't need it. I also took the beds, and I barged into another one. I kept on doing this until I thought I had enough beds. Oh yeah, and did I mention I also stole all the carrots? Because I kinda need food to survive in hardcore. So sorry, villagers. I found the new textured coal, yes! But I kinda missed this jump and almost died. After 7 minutes of trying to get up, I finally got up and gathered all the coal that I needed. As the day was almost coming to an end, I headed back to the village and found some animals to hunt down. The first day is now over and it was sunset, so I placed down my bed and went to sleep. It is now day 2 and I found zombies trying to hold the villager hostage, so I had to do something and save the day. And to my surprise, I found a little cave near the village. Also, at the entrance there was copper, so I decided to gather some while in there. Now that all the copper was mined, I found some iron and, of course, I have to mine it. And so that was all the iron ore in this mini cavern. When back in the village, I placed my crafting table, made a furnace, placed the furnace down, and started smelting the iron ore. But then I realized I saw a cat earlier in the village, but I'm trying to find it. Maybe it got catnapped or it just died. So I secretly went to this villager's house and decided to try out his bathtub. Looks like it's not a bathtub. So I went for my second shot trying to find this cat, but I never found it. But this idiotic villager kept on staring at me. That's where I wanted to kill it, but the iron golem was in the village. But as quickly as it started, the day ended. On day 3, it was peaceful until the stupid creeper came in, but luckily I killed it before it exploded. Next up, I actually got the iron that was all smelted up, threw away my garbage stone tools, and made some iron gear. So basically, day 3, I decided to go hiking. I went through the mountain meadows, mountain groves biome, but I kind of got stuck in powder snow and, hunted 2 rabbits, one of which gave me a rabbit's foot, and that was basically day 3. On day 4, I actually found some iron, and afterwards I decided to get the new goat horn item. I spent the whole day telling the stupid goat to ram into the block. As I obtained the item, I blew it while the sun was setting and it was dusk. On day 5, I found emeralds in the mountains. I realized that they made this more common. From days 5 to 14, I had the best experience in these new 1.17 mountains. With the village at spawn, we are bringing the trading mechanic back to life. So, let's begin. And that's where it came to an end. I had literally over 4 stacks of emeralds after these 10 days of continuous mining that I did sleep in between. These were the best days on the mountains. On day 15, I woke up with an amazing view of the mountains, so I decided to rappel down without a rope. and settle on the snow-capped peaks for a little bit. I had some ingots from all the emerald mining, so I decided to make some buckets, and I found a strange piece of ice, which had a water source, so I of course collected a water bucket. I even got some powder snow in case we needed MLG anytime. The sun was setting once again, but I kind of ended on the opposite side of where the village was supposed to be. So I climbed all the way to the peak only to see that it was midnight. Hopefully being my last day on the snowy part of the mountains, I decided to make an iron axe and gather as much spruce wood as I can. And so that is the most trees I've ever cut. And look, we've got stacks of spruce logs. And on day 17, I was greeted with a burning zombie, which I killed. And in a way of saying goodbye to the snowy mountains, I actually used the emotes for once. Am I happy the villagers are alive? So I made 2 chests with the oak planks that I had left over. With this, I was finally able to clear all the junk in my inventory. So I then put the iron ore into the furnace that I'd gathered from the emerald trip and finally made a blast furnace. Along the way, I found a cleric which I actually trapped so he doesn't die. Once I found a farmer villager, I broke the composter and finally got the armor that I needed. Sadly, day 17 is coming to an end. For me, day 18 was more of a laid back day, so I went to go get some coal and stack up. After mining, I decided to spend the rest of the day in the village. Before sleeping, I went to go trade the armor for some iron boots, but I kinda did this. You stupid scammer. On day 19, I finally put the emeralds to use with this armorer. And I've gotta say, I'm glad I got him through level 3 and all the way up to expert, so that I could finally get the diamond boots. And so I had to clear out my inventory because I have like a million shields. Unexpectedly, I saw the cat from like a few days ago, but it kinda ran away from me. So I then headed to the clearer to get some ender pearls. And to my surprise, the emeralds were enough to level it up to max. When I obtained these pearls, I was so happy that I didn't have to barter with piglins anymore. So I went to my chest to keep them safe. Once I went to retrade with the armor, I realized I only had 42 emeralds. And that's when I knew I had to do something. So, this is probably the biggest gap in 100-day history. I had prepared to once again climb these mountains and make full use of them. At day 22, I had finally reached some more emeralds. For the next 18 days, I put so much hard work and commitment into getting these emeralds, I ventured past and beyond these mountains. As quickly as it passes, these emeralds shown were not the only ones that were mined. There was a lot more. And as day 40 came to an end, the sunrise of day 41 was brighter than ever. As they started rappelling down the snow-capped peaks, I had basically reached the village by the sunset of day 41. And I finally made the MLG I was waiting for. As soon as I arrived, I found a villager sleeping in my bed, so I had to literally force it out. Days 42 through 43, I was happier than ever. I got to use all the stacks of emeralds I got from the journey. And believe it or not, I finally got my hands on the diamond chestplate it was selling. But I also needed the helmet and the leggings. So I rushed to the church and broke the broomstein. I headed towards the duplicate cleric, and I placed down the blast furnace hoping to get different trades. This is my only chance, so I traded for all the iron chest plates, but I realized my inventory was filling up fast. So I made a chest and cleared out my inventory. By day 43, I'd gathered 48 ingots to finally trade for these emeralds because I'm not wasting 36 on a bill. And that's when I finally got the leggings and the helmet for trade. As soon as I saw these, I instantly traded. Right as I went to head back, I saw 2 villagers chatting, so I instantly just stalked them to see if they would breed. And then just threw chain chest plates at them. That's it, day 43 has come. I finally put on my last piece of diamond armor I needed, and the day was over. And to my surprise, as I traveled a little bit further, there was another village. I then took the shortcut by swimming in this little river. And before I stepped foot in the village, I decided to get some sugarcane. As I arrived to the village, I was surprised to find a blacksmith house. Of course, I entered inside, and to my surprise, the loot had diamonds and even obsidian. I also had stacks of emeralds that I could trade. As I exited, the blacksmith awaited me. I think I might have went a little bit crazy because I traded for all the iron axes. I mean, because there were only 3 emeralds. Why is he happy? With the crafting table, I placed it down. I also made some paper as well as a book. And finally, an enchantment table. As day 44 came to an end, I would spend one more night in this village. On day 45, I forgot I did not need an armorer, so I instantly made a toolsmith. But I realized the trades were useless, so to take revenge, I stole some crops. I mean a lot of them. And so I spent the rest of day 45 in this village. Day 46, I probably spent way too much time just trying to look for some sugarcane, and I only found about 8 pieces. So basically 20 minutes of me trying to find sugarcane, and day 46 came to an end. From day 47 to day 48, I needed to do a lot of digging. So I placed down my crafting table and made an iron shovel. And I began digging sand. Well, if I didn't mention, I was gonna need a lot of sand for the sugarcane farm I was gonna make. And so once I thought I had gathered enough sand, I found an underwater ruin that was surprisingly floating above water. I knew for sure this was definitely a bedrock thing. So as I took a glance at this underwater ruin, I broke some magma blocks that I found. I mean, this was expected, but the loot was pretty crappy. And so I ditched the loot. Spending the rest of day 47 chilling on water, day 48 I started to make the sugarcane farm. I realized I was just gonna go for the little 3x3 farm, but I knew I couldn't be lazy and had to do it the old-fashioned way, with redstone. So I traded with the cleric, and as I went to trade, the cleric only had 4 in stock. I have to admit, I did buy some bottles of Enchanting. After the cleric got in stock on day 49, I bought tons of redstone and already made the materials I needed. Of course, the materials for the sugarcane farm. And let me say, it took a while. I began by simply clearing out the area, and began constructing the farm itself. So first we needed to make a little redstone clock, and there it was. I also proceeded to clear out some dirt and grass. With these dispensers, we could also transport the water from one area to another. And of course, we needed the storage. As day 49 was coming to an end, the farm itself was about 50% done. And so by nighttime, I tested out the machine to see if it would work, and it actually did. It was day 50 and I continued working on the exterior. Well, to my surprise, the sugarcane would not go in, and it was frustrating me. On day 51, I came up with a little solution to fix the farm. As I finalized clearing out the area, I finally added the last bit of blocks and connected the redstone to the piston. Well, the sugarcane went in and the farm was successful. It was so satisfying, I decided to spend the next day literally staring at the machine because it was so satisfying. And I kinda got off guard and spent the whole of day 52 just staring at it. By the end of day 52, everything was going extremely well. I had 2 sacks of sugarcane. I then made all the paper I could craft and went into a slumber. It was day 53 and my plan was to get an enchantment table set up by getting some leather. I had basically spent the whole of day 53 just looking for these cows. Good thing the mountain meadows is an amazing biome. As I went to take shelter under a tree, I spotted a group of pillagers. Spending the night of day 53, I decided to fight them off and kill all of them. But I kinda got the bad omen effect. Now the pillagers were dead, I stayed on the outskirts of the village to not cause a raid. It was day 54 and I continued hunting for some more cows. And let me say, the mountain meadows biome does not spawn as many cows. It was about noon on day 55 as I accidentally entered the village. Well, our only chance is to fight it off. I rushed to the center of the village and rang the bell. None of the villagers listened, so I used the goat horn, but it did nothing, of course. Well, it was still day 55 and I couldn't find any pillagers around. So I searched within the radius of spawn and I almost died from a huge fall. I had finally found one pillager under a tree, but I knocked it out with a crossbow. I then proceeded to eliminate the rest of the pillagers as I safely made my way down this mountain. Well, as I found the last pillager for round 1 and killed it, round 2 was already starting. I had to get ready. Once I made my way back into the village, the pillagers had killed all the villagers, so I decided to wipe out this army as fast as I can. With the iron golem's help, we were now going to round 3. But as I glanced around the village, there was no bar for round 3. This was because all villagers were dead. On day 56, I had gathered enough leather to make the books and even the bookshelves. And there you go, I made a perfect level 30 enchantment setup. I proceeded to make a diamond sword that I wanted to enchant with the level 30 enchantment setup. And to my surprise, I got sharpness 3 and breaking 3 and fire aspect 2. I even went to enchant my iron pickaxe, giving me fortune 3. On day 57, I made some stone slabs and even a grindstone. I was running out of lapis lazuli, so I went to the first ever house I robbed and found some that I left. I went to re-enchant my diamond sword, giving me a phenomenal sharpness 4 on breaking 3. Day 56 and 57 was a blast. Protection 1 sucks. It was day 58 and today I needed to gather some iron, so I headed out on the outskirts of the village, climbed a hillock and went to a nearby mountain. Looks like I had to jump on these trees to not fall. As I towered up, I mined into this little mountain and found some iron. And that should be enough. On day 59, I went to the farmer's crops and also gathered some potatoes. So it looks like using fortune 3 pickaxe on potatoes gives you more. Well, it looks like a whole day of farming and replanting potatoes has come to an end. It was day 60 and I finally had my machine working. I stored 5 stacks of potatoes to go to the hopper through the smoker, as well as cover up the last chest to give me more XP. Now was the waiting game. I decided to mine some coal and iron to pass by the time. This took lots of patience, but there were finally 5 stacks of baked potatoes. Now if I grab one, you will see that my level increases rapidly. I proceeded to head to the grindstone and disenchant all my armor because the enchants suck. Well, the smoker was so satisfying I had to admit it. But I needed to do one more thing before I slept. I crafted a bow using string and sticks and instantly headed to my enchantment setup. I thought it was an amazing enchantment, but I got only flame 1. I also needed to enchant my armor again. And so I finally got blast protection 4 and breaking 3. So I was so excited. It was day 64 and I went to enchant my bow. And to my surprise, when I pressed level 30, I had flame 1, infinity punch, power, and even unbreaking. This was my most overpowered and valuable weapon. It was day 65 and today I was going to the nether. As I was going to the village, I struck 2 poor horses and a chicken for no reason at all. I mean, I guess this bow was too overpowered. I just like to practice my archery on the way. From my previous days in this village, I knew there was a lava lake around, so I finally found it. Using the speedrunner ways, I did the lava and water bucket method. This did take lots of trial and error, but I finally got it. By the time it was sunset of day 65, I had finally completed the portal itself. I then grabbed a piece of gravel, placed it down, and used my Fortune 3 pickaxe to get flint. And of course make a flint and steel. I lit up the portal and day 65 was almost coming to an end. For the rest of day 65, I was trapped in this crimson forest and did not know where to go. On day 66, by taking a random path, I had finally made it to a Soul Sand Valley biome. I mean, I have to admit, this biome was actually really quiet. As I wandered through the Soul Sand Valley biome, I was lost. But after sniping a ghast and looking to my left, I found a fossil. So I rushed towards it as it could be a source for my bone meal. I once again did the risky play by bridging to this little island, but I had no way of getting down. So by day 67, I finally made it to the fortress itself. And let me say, that Enderman was mad. So I turned the corner in hoping to find some blazes, which I actually did. And this bow was overpowered. I proceeded to run forward, and when I looked to my right, there was a blaze spawner. So I decided it's time to hunt blazes. I should have bartered for a fire resistance potion. Looks like my sniper duel with the skeleton wasn't gonna last long. As I hunted down a few more blazes, I had finally gathered enough blaze rods to set me up for the end. By day 68, I had finally made it in the inner fortress, and I opened the chest, greeted by a bunch of diamonds and even nether wart. This was an amazing chest. By day 69, I had finally finished exploring the fortress. I proceeded to make an exit through the wall just to be greeted by a bunch of wither skeletons. Since this was the last day in the nether fortress, the next destination was to get full netherite gear. By day 70, I had made it to a place where I was confident I could find ancient debris. I continued to dig down with my iron pickaxe that had efficiency 4 from a while back. As I dug deeper, there was more and more lava that awaited me. It was day 71 and I kept on strip mining. I was losing hope every second. Next, I crafted a pickaxe from the diamonds that I gathered from the fortress. And would you know what, I already found my first piece of ancient debris. For these next 10 days, I would work hard and be committed into getting this ancient debris, because I needed full netherite gear. It was day 79 and I had finally gathered 28 pieces of ancient debris. Making a furnace using blackstone, I placed it down and started smelting the ancient debris. But I also needed nether gold ore, which was pretty easy to find. Once I'd gathered about 3 to 4 stacks of these golden nuggets, in excitement I made the golden ingots, smithing table, gathered the netherite scrap, placed on my smithing table, and finally made 7 netherite ingots. So now was the time. I upgraded all my tools and gear to netherite. This hard work really paid off. And there we go, my second goal was completed. Now it's time to raid a bastion remnant. Day 81 was very unlucky as I went to the surface of the Crimson Forest and had no luck of finding a bastion remnant. But I did kill some angry piglins on the way. It was day 82 and I'd finally found the bastion remnant. So I safely bridged, hoping to get over top the bastion itself. As I was about to enter, I heard piglins and piglin brutes. I knew I had to get ready. And so I began fighting off these groups of piglins. I have to admit, it was a pretty easy task considering my sharpness 4. In excitement, I opened the first chest to be greeted by a bunch of gold and even some obsidian. But that wasn't the best of the best. Opening the double chest, I instantly spotted ancient debris. There was even iron arrows and string. And so this was the loot I was hoping for. On day 84, I was on the outskirts of the bastion trying to find an entrance in. A horde of piglins came crashing down and I decided to kill them. I had finally found my way into a little room with loot, and when I opened it, I was greeted with a new Lenarain Pig Step music disc. I had never found this in survival, and being the first time, this was amazing. And so I spent the rest of day 84 looking for an exit. It was day 85 and I was happier than ever finally being able to leave the nether and back home. I almost glitched into lava and burnt up on entry. And I decided to practice my archery skills on this poor iron golem. It was day 85 and I was happier than ever to get back to the overworld, but I needed to do one more thing. I took some serious dedication and made a diamond hoe, placed down the smithing table, and made a netherite hoe. It got so crazy I was about to enchant it, but I'm not gonna do it. On day 86, I made a loom and a white banner. Using the snail banner pattern that I got from the bastion remnant, I spent the whole day just trying to make a stupid banner. But by the time it was sunset, I had finally succeeded. On day 87, I was finally excited to enchant my netherite pickaxe. With the huge surprise, I pressed level 30 and got efficiency 4 and breaking 3, fortune 3. This netherite pickaxe was gonna be handy. Next up, I made a little 2x2 farm using water and a netherite hoe. I then decided to take a second visit to the other village. I was so happy with this bow that I literally just decided to kill a bunch of sheep. Realizing I went the wrong way, I decided to let out my anger on these poor sheeps. So I had finally made it to the village with some emeralds to trade. And to my surprise, there was 2 wandering traders. I also needed slime balls, and luckily this wandering trader had some. So I decided to trade, but he kind of ran out of stock really quickly. Of course, I had to do the right thing and kill both of them. But let me admit, this got into a brawl really quickly. Well, what's disgusting than spitting in each other's mouths? These llamas were doing just that, and I decided to just stay and watch. Haha, the trash talk was getting way too heated, so I decided to step back. But then this llama gave me the death stare. I was freaked out, so I just killed all the llamas and headed back home. Well, looks like day 87 was coming to an end. Day 88 was an exciting day. I quickly arose and went to craft some eyes of ender using the blaze powder and ender pearls. I rushed to the hillock and started my journey of trying to locate the stronghold. Well, let's see where this takes us. Then I struggled trying to find the second eye of ender that I threw. As I finally found it, I continued the journey. It was about day 89 sunset and looks like we were getting close. I finally found the stronghold and started locating the end portal itself. Things were looking hard as there were dead ends everywhere. I then came across a chest that had diamonds, but I decided to ditch it. I then came across what looked like a sewer, and I think I was close. I was slowly losing hope as I was trying to locate this end portal, but I knew I couldn't give up. I then took a simple right and there it was. The end portal was waiting for me to activate it. And so I placed the rest of the eyes of ender and it was time to fight the ender dragon. I instantly broke up and built up. With the infinity on this bow, I knew I couldn't waste any arrows. So I easily obliterated all the towers. Next, I bridged up to a pillar and was confident about destroying the end crystals. I then shot down all the pillars. This was good as the dragon had no more end crystals to gain health off of. As a dragon glid, the instant harming really affected my health. She started perching and I went in for critical blows. This power 4 bow was really doing me good. Looks like it was time to finish her off. This was the final perch and the final blow. By day 91, I was rich with XP. In excitement, I grabbed the dragon egg and I knew my next stop was the end cities. It was the time. I built a bridge and ender pearled into the end gateway. Well, on the first day, I had no luck of finding an end city at all. But then I spotted the marvel and glanced at it. As I entered the structure, I wiped out 2 shulkers that were guarding the entry. With excitement, I rushed up the stairs and did the parkour to get the loot. It wasn't an easy task because these shulkers could easily levitate you and kill you. I got to the first chest, but got some crappy loot. Well, I was running out of inventory space. As I ascended these heights, more shulkers awaited me. This is the kind of loot I wanted. I got a Smite 4 iron sword. This wasn't easy, but I actually hit an emoji from over 100 blocks in the air. I had finally got lucky, so I gathered some end stone and knew that this end city had an end ship as well. I snuck up and used levitation to my advantage. I wasn't gonna wait all day just to finish this parkour. And there it was above me, the end ship. I needed to get there fast. But you can never miss out on loot. As I opened the chest, there was an amazing diamond sword with sharpness 4 and fire aspect 2. I grabbed it as soon as I could. This was a major war zone. There were dozens of shulkers, but I used my bow to my advantage. The last piece of loot had a diamond efficiency 4 mending 1 pickaxe. And well, it was time. It was time to go to the end ship and obtain the elytra. I safely shifted to the left and sniped the shulker off the edge. These were the last steps towards the elytra. I knocked out the shulker and looted these 2 amazing chests. It lied before me. I took it out of the item frame, equipped the elytra, and glid out. This was it. The final challenge was completed, and we had raided a whole end city. It came to me how much hard work we put into this elytra and all this netherite armor. I killed some angry endermen and went straight into the end gateway. I entered the portal and there I was, in the overworld. I took an amazing glance at the blue sky. I started off with some relaxing activities such as farming and replanting potatoes. I then bone mealed my wheat farm to its max and collected all the wheat seeds. Finally, the copper was done smelting. I turned it into some copper blocks and even made a lightning rod. I added a final detail to the top of my enchantment setup. And there it was day 100. I took a last glance at the village and how far we've come. I glared into the sky and circulated the mountains. From the mountain meadows to the snow-capped peaks, this was an amazing hardcore Minecraft adventure. I spent the final moments gliding these amazing mountains and hanging out with some goats as well. There it was, the last dusk and the last sunset. I took a last glance at these amazing mountains and glared into the sunset. This has been Hardcore Minecraft 100 Days in the New Mountains. Thank you so much for watching. We had not only survived, but we have thrived 100 days in Hardcore Minecraft. These mountains were an amazing beauty to explore, and this whole challenge was amazing. Thank you so much for watching.